Hey, I'm back again. I have just a couple of white potatoes, just regular all-purpose potatoes that I boiled up in some salted water. I have my little pan that I bought the other day for $1.99. Now this is the meatloaf that I made, the vegetarian meatloaf, and it tastes great cold on bread as a sandwich, a little mustard and stuff, but it didn't turn out the way as firm as I wanted it to. So this is what it looks like. But when you heat it up, it gets mushy. So cold, it's fine. So what I want to do is I want to make a shepherd's pie, and I still have my little bit of sweet potato left. This is my worm food. They'll be getting that later. This is a cucumber that I'm letting go so that I can get the seeds from it. So I'll make a video on that. But anyway, I digress. Back to my shepherd's pie. So I want to combine the sweet potato with the white potato and make a mash for the top. And then I'm going to put some mixed vegetables in with the meatloaf, and I'm going to chop this up, part of it. Part of it I'm going to eat cold on sandwiches, but that's too much, and part of it I'll probably freeze. But some of this I want to chop up for my shepherd's pie, so we'll see how that turns out. Part of the reason why I'm sharing my meatloaf excuse me, failure with you is because if you make something that's not to your liking and it doesn't turn out quite right, think about other ways that you can use it. So I don't want to waste all these ingredients because food is expensive. So another thing, I can eat this cold on sandwiches. I can cut these into slices and fry them and make them into a burger and put some cheese and things on it. But what I'm doing right now is I am going to make it into some crumbles. So I have it all crumbled up here in the pan, and I'm just going to fry it up a little bit. But if you're vegan and vegetarian, you know, use veggie crumbles. If you can buy those frozen and do those, or whatever your favorite recipe is for veggie crumbles. Or if you're a meat eater, then go ahead and brown up some ground turkey or some ground beef, whatever it is you eat. So here I have my two potatoes, my white potato and my sweet potato, and this is going to be the topping for my shepherd's pie. So I just salted these and mashed them up, and I'm going to add them to my sweet potatoes. You can do this as much as or as little as you want, but I'm going to go for a half and half mixture. And then I'm going to season this with a little bit of onion powder because I put that on almost everything. And of course it keeps clumping up on me because I put this into recipes while it's still hot. So I'll be back in a minute when I mix up some spices. Alright, so I have my sweet potatoes and my regular potatoes mixed together. Like I said, it was about half and half. I added about a half a teaspoon. Oh my, there goes the ambulance. I added about half a teaspoon of onion powder. I added some, about half a teaspoon of garlic salt, but do that to taste. That might be too much. And black pepper. So this will be my topping. And here I fried up some of my not meatloaf. And the reason I did this, I didn't add any oil or anything, was to dry it out a little bit so that it stays in clumps. because this is going to be going into a gravy with some veggies. So I'm going to go ahead and put together this pie and make some gravy now. Okay, I have about a tablespoon of butter, tablespoon and a half, a tablespoon. Use whatever butter you like, vegan, dairy, whatever. And I've got about a tablespoon and a half here of flour. And I'm just going to cook this flour, make like a roux. And cook off that flour taste. So I'm going to let that cook for a minute. And then I'm going to make this with some broth. And use whatever kind of gravy or broth you like. I'm going to look in my stash and see what flavor I'm in the mood for today. So I'm going to use the Better Than Bouillon mushroom base today. And I'm going to stir it up. I like the Better Than Bouillon. It's expensive though, so I do buy other things, but I have this, so I'm going to use it. And I'm going to start off with a heaping teaspoon that I'm going to put in here. And the flour is all cooked off a little bit. So, and here I have just a cup of water that I'm going to slowly add, because you don't want lumps in your gravy. And I'm not exactly sure how much water this will take, so I'm just going to add a little bit at a time. You can also thicken your gravy with some cornstarch if you don't want to use flour. Either one is good. Just make sure you stir it. If you have a whisk, that would be lovely too. So it depends on how thick you like your gravy. But this is a very easy shepherd's pie. Again, I'm just using things I cooked ahead. So if you have potatoes and sweet potatoes and whatever meat you like and frozen vegetables, you can make a very easy shepherd's pie. So I'll be back once I get this thickened up. Once you get it stirred in, you want to let it cook for a minute or so just to thicken. Now I'm going to add a little bit of this It's All Gravy. I got this online and it's vegetarian. So I'm going to add about a teaspoon of that. Now it is salty, so taste your gravy. And then I'm going to also add some black pepper to taste. And stir this up. And then this will go into my little pan along with the frozen vegetables. And then I will bake this, not freeze it. I will bake this in a 350 oven until the veggies are tender. So maybe about 45 minutes. And if your gravy is too thin, you can always mix a little bit of cornstarch with water and add that to it till you get the consistency you like. I'm also going to add a little bit of onion powder because I put onion powder on everything. But I like onions and they're very healthy for you. So this is starting to thicken up nicely. You can even add a little bit of wine to this if you like. If you have some white wine, that would be tasty. So I'll let this cook a minute to thicken up, and I'll be back and put it all together. Okay, so I added about 1/4 teaspoon of sage to this gravy. So now I'm going to pour this over my vegetarian meat mixture. And if you have a favorite vegan gravy that you like, or vegetarian gravy, or whatever gravy you like, this is basically just how to put things together. So there's that, and then I have these mixed veggies that I had in the freezer. And if you have things like this that are a little bit freezer burned, taste them, and if they don't taste freezer burned, you can run them under a little bit of cold water. So let's mix this up and see if I need any more, but I think that's going to do. So there you have it. And now I am just going to put my potatoes and sweet potatoes on the top, and you can make that as thick or as thin as, oops, sorry for the arm, as thick as or as thin as you like. And I like the combination of the sweet potato and the regular potato. It gives it a good flavor. You can also do this with cooked carrots and potatoes. That's really good. You can sprinkle some bacon bits on top, or you can just do all kinds of things. I love dishes like this that you can do different things with. So there is an easy, quick shepherd's pie. And if you have things cooked ahead, like the potatoes and the sweet potatoes, you can put one of these together in no time. And you can even use leftover meatloaf. You can use leftover hamburgers for your meat. So use up what you have. Be a little creative with your cooking. And I'll show this to you when it's all done. I'm going to bake this now, and basically it's just to heat it up because the veggies were frozen, and that would work. Okay, so here we have it. I baked it at 350 for 40 minutes, and it's looking good. I'm going to serve a little bit of this up, and I'll let you know how it tastes. All right, there it is. So let's give it a taste. A little bit of everything. The gravy has all sort of been absorbed into the ingredients. So let me give this a taste. That's really good. So reinvent your food if it's not to your liking. See what else you can do with it. Because food is so expensive, and you really don't want to waste food. So my meatloaf flop has turned into a shepherd's pie win. Yummy. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching.